You know, technically the show is supposed to start now. So right now it's like bleeding over.
What do we need to do to get going?
We're pretty much ready.
I'm going to try to monitor this the best I can for you.
Yeah, I'm going to try to look at it more too.
Oh. Never mind.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Just burping it.
Don't do that.
No.
No.
Ready?
Ready.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 LPFM Lexington. If this is your first time tuning in, I personally want to say welcome. Happy to have you. This talk radio show is nothing short of what you want to hear, and this show has something for everyone. So keep it locked right here for the next 60 minutes as we discuss some of the hottest topics trending. You can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or if you are out of the Lexington area, you can download the WLXU app on your smartphone device. Amber Turner is in the studio with me. Amber, how are you today?
I am good. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for being here. It's awesome atmosphere here in the studio. I feel like the morale is really good here.
Everybody's in a good mood today.
Everybody is in a really good mood. We had a 15-minute conversation with our program director outside about tacos.
About good tacos.
I feel like everybody's vibing well. Everything's going well. A lot of exciting things happening around Lexington Community Radio, this radio station. And I don't know how I feel about it. I'm excited, but then again, it's change. And anyone who knows me knows that I do like change when it's positive change.
Yeah.
When it makes sense and when it's making things better. But I'm also a little...
Nervous?
A little nervous when
nervous.
When it comes to change because you don't really know what's going to happen. It's the unknown.
Well, yeah. The unknown will get you every time.
But this is exciting. So, Lexington Community Radio, we're getting a new studio, hopefully, at the beginning of the year, 2020. And what a way to start off the new decade is a brand new studio. And I'm just envisioning this studio to be a studio it's on the high-rise top floor of a building downtown Lexington. and you can see the city, you can see all the buildings and the traffic, and it probably is not going to be like that.
Probably not.
But it's wishful thinking.
Hey, positive thinking.
But it has changed. I'm used to everything here. Like, I feel like that when I say goodbye to this soundboard that's sitting in front of me and I have to say hello to a new one, I'm just going to have my goodbyes with it. I'm going to have to take some time out to say goodbye to the soundboard. But we're moving into a new studio. I'm excited for that. They say that it should be around the first of the year, so January, February.
Okay.
We'll be able to check it out. What's exciting about that is the studio is going to be open more on a 24-hour level, so you're going to have some late-night programming.
Okay.
And there's times that there's some new time slots opening up for Off the Cuff, possibly. I don't know. I've kind of got used to this 4 p.m. time slot, and I think our 4 p.m. drivers, our commuters around 4 p.m. will be disappointed if we left.
Well, and we have a routine right now, so...
We do. But we are getting a new studio at the beginning of the year. Also, and I really don't know how I feel about this, but here at WLXU, we're getting a new boss.
We are.
We're getting a new program manager, and our fearless leader, Mary Clark, will be leaving. She's continuing her education at the University of Kentucky, so she's going to go get her master's, and we're going to be getting a new boss here. And have you ever heard the expression, don't trade the devil you know for the devil you don't know?
Yep.
Not saying by any means that our boss is a devil.
No.
She's chill as can be.
She's sweet.
Very sweet, like her. But it's the unknown. When you get a new boss, things change.
Oh, yeah, things can change.
Things do change in your company. I mean, that awesome morale that we were talking about a while ago, a new boss can impact that tremendously.
Oh, yeah, and... I don't know, I think kind of what we've got going is really chill. We get to come in, we get to have a little conversation, and then we get to come in here and we get to do what we love. So I just hope nobody comes in and kind of messes with that flow.
Well, I wonder if the new boss is going to allow me to be as free as what I've been here on this show. I mean, is the new boss going to allow me to wear Beavis and Butthead shirts?
You know, I don't know.
Is the new boss...
I think what you have on today would be approved.
Oh, the WLXU shirt?
Yeah, you're rocking the station shirt.
I do. And the Macho Man Randy Savage shirts, the Hulk Hogan shirts that I wear, are they going to be okay?
Anybody who doesn't like the Hulk Hogan shirt, go home.
Are they going to be okay with that? The new boss, you don't know. I mean, you don't know. The dress code could be different. The new boss might not want me to bring a monster to drink in here into the studio. You just don't know what kind of how things are going to change when a new boss comes.
Oh, and a new boss can change everything.
It can. So we are expected to have a new boss in here at the station around August, September. So we do look forward to that. But yeah, a new boss, and not saying that it could happen here, but you've been in business. You've worked over 10 years of work experience. You know that when you work in a toxic work environment, how much of an impact it has on your daily life.
Oh, man.
A toxic workplace can be defined as any job where the work, the atmosphere, the people, or any combination of those things cause serious disruptions in the rest of your life. I've had bad jobs.
Oh, bad jobs. I think that's all I've ever had.
I've had bad jobs where I have been in toxic work environments. I mean, it's really taken a toll on my health. I mean, it can make you sick. Toxic workplaces, it can make you tired, it can make you burn out, and it can literally physically make you sick.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times I found myself going to the ER at my previous place of employment.
And is it worth it?
No, it absolutely was not.
I mean,
absolutely was not. We were bought by a bigger company, and they did not care that I had probably spent $5,000 going to the ER because I had stressed myself out. They didn't care. They said, okay, bye.
And the thing about toxic environments is it doesn't have to be a bunch of people to cause a toxic environment.
No, one person can ruin it for all.
One person.
Yep.
And it's really bad when that one person can be your boss.
Yeah. I don't know that I've had like a direct boss that was bad. I will say that I did work at one laboratory that was absolutely atrocious. Wow. But I have found that just people in power in general, if they're toxic, it can kill the whole vibe.
Oh, yeah. You can have a narcissistic leader, someone who's always right. It's their way or the highway. I mean, and if you have a bad boss, they're not doing anything to help the situation.
No, they're not. So there is a difference between a boss and a leader. You know, a boss is someone who tells you what to do. A leader is someone who shows you what to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't have enough leaders today.
There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Not enough Indians. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, I find that people are more concerned with having power in positions than what they are actually accomplishing the goal that they took that position to do. You know, if you take a position because you want to better a company, better the company. Don't build your ego every day when you come in.
Be aware. Look around your environment. Look around your workplace to see if you are in a toxic environment. Are people smiling? Are people laughing? Are people genuinely happy to be there? If they are, you're probably safe. You're not in a toxic work environment. But if you are finding yourself in the midst of all kinds of rumors and gossip and cliques, then you are probably involved in a toxic work environment. And if you are, I'm going to tell you some ways that you can handle a toxic work environment. The first thing you should do, if you find yourself working in a toxic work environment, you need to find people who feel the same way you do. There's other people in the company that feel the same way you do. They feel like they're being talked about. They feel like that they are being bogged down by negativity. You need to bond a relationship with the people that feel the same way. There's other people out there that feel just like you do, and it's nice to have somebody to talk to and form friendships with so you don't have to go through it by yourself.
Oh no, I agree with you on that.
It's important to have a work-life balance.
Yes, unfortunately, when you do take on some of these, I call them middle management because I was middle management. When you take on that role, it's very difficult to have that work-home life. I found myself spending more work than home, ever.
You need to, if possible, focus on your job as much as you can. Focus on the tasks at hand. Make a to-do list if you have to. Stay busy. Don't focus on the cliques and the gossip and the rumors. Just stay there and do your job. Keep busy as much as you can.
But how can you do that when everybody around you is, you know, consistently creating drama?
Yeah.
Like, I am a woman, but I never again want to work with a group of women. I'm sorry, but you put us all together and things pop off.
I've worked with all women before. It can have its... I can see where things can end up toxic when you have a bunch of women, and I want to be very careful when I address this. It's just... Well, I'm going to let you take the
I can say it. I can say it. You know, there's a quote that I enjoy. It says, "Fix another woman's crown without telling the world it was crooked." And unfortunately, kind of the society that we live in now, we thrive on breaking down other people because somewhere in our head we feel like it makes us feel better. It does not, ladies. It will not make you feel better tonight if you are rude to someone. So let's just be nice to each other. Fix somebody's crown.
I've always said this. You do not have to be nice to someone. Just don't be mean.
Just don't actively try to do negative things to them. Don't impact their life at all.
Yeah. And what you need to do, if you do find yourself in a toxic work environment, you should start planning your exit strategy. You need to start planning on a way to get out.
Exactly, because if it's going on when you're there, more than likely it will continue to go on.
Yeah.
It's not going to change.
Unless you do a whole revamp. I mean, it could be the management in place. It might not be the management. It might be one, it might be two people that is causing this toxic work environment. And until they're gone, it's always going to be bad. But what you should do is you should start planning your exit strategy. Start applying for other jobs. And if it really becomes too much and it's bogging you down so much that your work life is having such a negative balance or having such a negative impact on you, it's not worth it. Quit the job and take something part-time until you find something else.
Exactly.
We only have one life to live.
It does not just affect you. I think that's what people forget, is it does not just affect you. A bad day at work will affect everybody in your life. Everybody that you come in contact with during that day. Your husband, your wife, your friend, your children. You're going to take that out on them.
You spend 60%, I would dare say 60% of your life working.
Yeah.
Your job becomes your life. You need to make sure you like what you do.
Yep.
If you are not fortunate enough to be in a job where you love what you do, at least I hope you are happy in doing what you are doing for the time being. If you're not, life is too short.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, if you quit, they will have you replaced in 2 weeks.
In 2 days.
You're just, and it's not worth your health. It's not worth your mental capacity to have all of that pressure.
No.
So, get out of the toxic work environment.
Nope. Don't work at them.
If you are in one. And unfortunately, toxic work environments can lead to worse things. And it brings up my next topic, the Virginia Beach shooting. And I don't necessarily know, I don't think it's fair to say that the employee was disgruntled, because there's been no proven fact that he was actually targeting these victims because he was disgruntled. But he was obviously not happy in his workplace, and he took it out on the people at work. And when we come back from our first commercial break, we are going to talk about it right here on Off the Cuff.
Donation to Lexington Community Radio makes a difference. Many of our donors tell us they wish they could give more. If you're looking to get rid of a vehicle but don't want the hassle of selling it or fixing it, consider donating it to Lexington Community Radio. Donating your car is a fast, safe, and easy way to support the programming you value. Make a difference by donating your unwanted vehicle. Just go to lexingtoncommunityradio.org/car.
Newspaper El Mundo Bluegrass is proud to support Lexington Community Radio. El Mundo Bluegrass is a Spanish-language newspaper, free and now with articles in English. Its mission is to unite Hispana and American community with news from KY centers in the world. The Bluegrass work can be found in stores and businesses, Mexicans, Latinos, or Americans. For publicity or more information, visit www.elmundobluegrass.com and follow us on Facebook at Mundo Bluegrass, or call today at 859-270-8083.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in the studio with me. So before the break, we were talking about disgruntled employees working in toxic work environments, which brings up this next topic, the shooting, the tragic shooting that happened at Virginia Beach. It happened at the Virginia Beach Municipal Center, which is a city building. Dwayne Craddock was the shooter. He was a certified professional engineer in the city's public utilities department for 15 years. He was 40 years old. And I think a little tidbit of information that you should know is the morning of the attack, he sent his boss a resignation letter via email. He resigned from his position.
Yep.
Craddock's supervisor asked him why he was resigning. And Craddock just told his boss that he was quitting for personal reasons. He never really elaborated more than that. And then he just went on with his daily routine at work. And a person that worked there, Joseph Scott, said he worked with the shooter for several years. And he saw him that day, just like he did every day in the bathroom, brushing his teeth. And
okay.
Yeah, he brushed his teeth in the bathroom and wished him a good day. And then around 4 p.m., Amber, he embarked on a rampage in building number 2 of the Virginia Beach Municipal Center, turning its offices into a battleground. And some of the people that worked in the building, they survived the attack by barricading themselves in an office and putting desks and chairs in front of the door to keep him out. But he ended up killing 12 people inside of that building. And it's tragic. I mean, totally tragic. And it was people that he had worked with on a daily basis. It's people that he knew.
And it wasn't like he did not have this planned. It went from people who had worked there for somebody had been there for almost 40 years, I think. And then another person had only been there for maybe like a couple of months, 6 months. So this was not like he picked out all of the people that, he had worked with for long years.
No. And what gets me is his performance was satisfactory. He was in good standing within the department, and he had no issues of ongoing discipline. So I want to be very careful that I want to say he was disgruntled. Just because he wasn't in bad standing and he wasn't written up doesn't mean that he wasn't disgruntled. But he took out his violence on his coworkers. So I think that it had to be something to do with his workplace.
Probably the workplace, maybe not so much the people. I mean, I'm sure we're going to find out more, kind of as the weeks turn into months, kind of what his actual agenda was. But
it come out of nowhere. I mean, they said that this guy, this shooter, was a nice guy. He was genuinely a nice guy. They said around the holidays, he bought all of the administrative staff boxes of candy.
Okay.
And, I mean, he was just a nice guy. And for him, just one Friday afternoon, was it Friday?
It was the 31st of May, so that was actually like a Tuesday.
Just one random day, he just decided to open fire and kill the people that he worked with. And the people who survived it, the ones that barricaded themselves in the office, when the cops arrived and told them it was safe to clear the building, they had to step over the bloody bodies of their coworkers to get out.
I could not imagine. Working itself is hard enough, but that would probably be the furthest thing from my mind is, hey, am I going to get shot when I go into work today?
They found 2 legally purchased guns, a .45 caliber pistol, and, well, no, it was 2 .45 caliber pistols. He just had 2 .45 caliber pistols. And he legally bought them, so it wasn't an illegal buy. And he did his shooting with those pistols. So it wasn't like an extreme, like, mass weapon of destruction that he used.
No, it was just a normal person who had issues, who had a problem. And that was the only way he saw he could fix that problem. And I hate that. I hate that for everybody involved, himself included. I wish, maybe if he was having some of these thoughts, he could have, like, sought out help or, maybe talked to somebody.
The victims was Richard Nettleton. He was Craddock's boss. Herbert Snelling was a contractor. He wasn't even there to work. He didn't even work in the building. He was just there to get a permit. And out of all of 12 people, he was the only one that didn't work there. So he was just there.
He was just wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time. Laquita Brown, Mary Louise Gale, and Alexander Guzev were all right-of-way agents who worked for the city's public works department. Tara Gallagher, Christopher Rapp were engineers. Joshua Hardy was an engineering tech. Ryan Keith Cox was an accountant clerk. And Michael Langer was an administrative assistant. And Robert Bobby Williams was a 41-year-old veteran. 41-year veteran. Not 41 years old. He worked there 41 years. 41 years. Very sad. I mean, I don't... It's happening more often than not, these shootings. It's happening in movie theaters. It's happening at work. It's happening in schools.
It's happening
in shopping malls.
In shopping malls, and when you're just out with your family, in restaurants. And where are we safe?
Well, I don't know if there's a place that we are truly safe, because it could really happen anywhere. But let me tell you something. If you are ever faced with a situation like this, if you ever have to come in contact with an active shooter, I just want to give you a couple of things that you can do to make yourself a little safer. One thing you need to do is you need to maintain situational awareness. In other words, get your head out of your phone, look around, pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to where the exits are. Do you ever do that? Do you ever walk in and
I have to know where my exits are.
Pay attention to where the exits are. I do. When I go to the casino and I sit down to play poker, I look to see where the exits are. I look to see what door I could possibly run out of if somebody starts shooting. Yeah, that's sad, and it sounds a little hostile and outrageous, but in the day that we're living in, you have to do that.
No, I don't think that sounds... Most people would think, oh, you're taking that to the extreme. No. That's not, because these things are happening. They're happening all around us, and I don't feel like anybody is doing anything to actually stop it. We are just fighting back and forth with gun control and, limitation on guns. It doesn't matter about that. If people want to get a gun, people will get a gun.
Limit your alcohol consumption in public. If you're drunk, you're not going to be able to escape as good as you was if you're sober, and you're not going to be able to pay attention to to
you
your
cannot
surroundings.
cognitively be able to process what is going on around you.
Yep. Be careful with your communication devices, okay? Make sure that you keep it on your person. Don't put it in your purse. Don't be like me and lay it beside you. Keep it on your person, that way you always have it, because if things get real, if things start happening and you have to run away, you're going to forget your phone, and you're going to forget that you even had it, and you're going to reach down in your pocket to grab it to call 911, and it's not going to be there. Also, if you're hiding from someone, if you're hiding from the shooter, make sure that your electronic device is on silent. Because if somebody calls you and your phone rings, they could find you because the phone alerted the shooter to let them know where you was. Make sure that you also know what to do when the police arrive. You need to understand that the police are there first and foremost to catch the killer.
And they don't know who that is right now.
And they don't know. So make sure that your hands are up and that you're not running towards them with a threatening nature.
Yeah, because you're going to be distressed. I mean, obviously, I could never sit here and say I would not, be composed, but approach them in a manner that, they understand that you are a victim at this point.
You should learn first aid basics. You should know, if you don't know how to give CPR, if you don't know how to bandage a wound or stop a wound from bleeding, you need to take those basic skill set classes to get certified in CPR, just in case something like that ever happens. And my good buddy of mine teaches classes like that, and I've been wanting to ask him if I could take those classes, because the world we're living in, Amber, it's scary.
Yep.
And you don't know when or where it could happen, because people think, oh, it could never happen to me. Listen, it's happened in almost every possible place that it could happen. A nightclub where people dance.
Yep.
It happened in an elementary classroom where there's just little babies in there.
Yep.
So you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan. If before you walk in, you should say, just in case the act of an active shooter comes into this movie theater, here's my exits, here's where I need to run, here's where I'll get down if I need to get down. You need to have some type of plan in place. And it's not crazy to think like that anymore.
No, it's not. Not anymore.
No, it's not.
It's not.
But my heart goes out to those people who unfortunately lost their lives in that accident. And may God be with them.
Well, I think with everybody involved.
And with everybody involved. And the family, they posted, could you imagine the killer's family, what they're going through? I mean, that was somebody's somebody.
That was somebody's somebody. Despite what he done, he was still somebody's somebody.
Yeah. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, it is about time for Off the Cuff's Song of the Week. So, hopefully this gets you into a better mood as we transition into more exciting and more uplifting topics. But I do think that was worth mentioning, and I do think it's important, since I have this platform, to let people know that if they're ever in a situation like that, that they need to have a plan and to be aware, because it can happen.
And please don't forget, Mental Health Awareness Month was last month, but mental health awareness should be every month. It should be every day.
Every day.
Every day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, Off the Cuff's Song of the Week. Enjoy.
But mental health awareness should be every month. It should be every day.
Every day.
Every day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, Off the Cuff's Song of the Week. Enjoy.
We've got a lot of new people listening today. So, I know you can't see me, but thank you for everybody that's listening.
All right, that was Gorillaz with their excellent song Clint Eastwood. I don't know why they call it Clint Eastwood. It's another one of those songs where I don't understand why they call it what they call it. But ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with our next segment here on Off the Cuff after these words.
Hi, this is CJ Akins from the Ultimate Praise Party, and you're listening to
only 4:30.
93.9 LPFM, Lexington Community Radio.
Hi, this is Renee Collins, host of Overtones on WLXU 93.9 FM. Each and every week, we open our show with Lexington-based band.
Our station's closed July 4th. Are we gonna do
and seeing that happen
pre-record?
by joining us each and every week, Monday from 3 to 4 p.m. on WLXU 93.9 FM to listen to Overtones, hosted by Renee Collins.
Actually, no, it would go on the radio, so I couldn't.
Dude, I think this milk is clabbered.
What do you mean?
I don't know, it tastes weird.
Over half of Americans don't have enough coverage, and that can be a hard fact to face. So State Farm agent Deborah Hensley here in Lexington likes to make it easier with a more forward-thinking approach. That means focusing on how life insurance benefits actually live on and can help maintain a way of life for the loved ones who are left behind. So Deborah tries to get people thinking in terms of life without having to sell the house insurance, or life without working a second job insurance, maybe even life without having to give up college insurance. No matter what you call it, today you can stop avoiding the subject and start taking a fresh look at how the benefits of life insurance can live on for your family. To learn more, you can visit DeborahHensley.com or call 276-3244.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in the studio with me. Jeopardy is one of those shows you grow up watching. It's one of those shows where when you get a question right, you feel like a genius.
You thought you were the Jeopardy master. One question.
I have went several times and watched Jeopardy and didn't get one question right.
Mine's probably more than several.
Several times. It's a great show. And it's really just a simple quiz show.
Yeah, it's honestly things that we should probably know already. And I think we just get caught up because you do have a time limit. I think that time limit gets you every time.
Jeopardy James. That's who you know. And that's who you've been keeping up with if you've been watching Jeopardy over the last several months. He was the Jeopardy phenom, James Holzhauer. Did I say that right?
Holzhauer.
James Holzhauer. We knew he couldn't win forever, and we knew that his reign would come to an end. And it did if you watched Monday's show. Holzhauer had destroyed all of his opponents in his path. He won 32 straight games and set several single-game records. He had earned $2.4 million, just $58,000 short of Ken Jennings' all-time record for regular play. Now, Ken Jennings, if you don't remember him, he was the Jeopardy beast that won 74 straight games, 42 more than Holzhauer had won coming into Monday's show. Okay, so Holzhauer led after the first round, but early in Double Jeopardy, Emma Boetcher?
Okay.
You know I butcher names.
I know.
But Emma Boetcher bet all 7,600 of her stack on a daily double. She knew which city beginning with the letter A is home to the United States annual sailboat show. Do you know the answer to that?
Ann Arbor?
I don't know. I was hoping you would know the answer. That's a really good educated guess. That's a really good educated
I'm going to
guess.
have to look that up now.
The final clue was easy enough that everyone got it correct, and therefore Emma Boetcher is your new champ. Holzhauer ends at number 2 on the all-time money and wins lists for regular Jeopardy games. So, if you guys watched the show on Monday, you saw that his reign, it did come to an end. And I'm going to play you the clip of when that exactly happened. But did you know that this episode of him losing, this much anticipated episode of him losing, this episode got leaked?
And I never thought this would happen to Jeopardy, that people would be leaking footage. But here we are, 2019, leaking Jeopardy footage.
Premature death. You have 30 seconds. Good luck.
I want to see what that is now.
Jay, we come to you first. You started slowly, but we're coming on very strong in the double Jeopardy round. You wound up at $11,000, which is pretty good, but in third place. And you came up with who is Marlowe? Christopher Marlowe? You are correct, sir. And you will add 6,000. That bumps you up to 17,000. You're hoping for bad things. Incorrect responses from our champion and from Emma. Over to James now. He had 23,400, and his response was correct. His wager, a modest one for the first time. That takes him to 24,799. So Emma, it's up to you. If you came up with a correct response, you're going to be the new Jeopardy champion. Did you? You did. What did you wager? Oh, gosh, 20,000.
Annapolis.
And just like that, she is the new Jeopardy champion, and Holzhauer is out. But does this woman not look like Amy McGrath?
Yeah.
She looks just like Amy McGrath.
For a second, I got confused. I was like, wait, did they maybe put the wrong, like, a stock photo up when they put this? No, I agree.
She looked so nervous. It's like she knew she won, but she couldn't contain herself. It's like when you're playing poker and you got that royal flush and you don't know how to react because you know you got the best hand possible. Or it's like playing Texas Hold'em and you got a pocket aces and you don't know how to act. That's how she felt.
Kind of like you when you won the jackpot.
Yeah. And so she was very excited to win. But just like that, it is over. Ratings soared for Jeopardy. Ratings were out the roof. So it just goes to show, when you have a guy consistently winning over and over and over, people are wanting to see, can he do it again?
Exactly.
Can he do it again?
It's a phenomenon. We want to see, can he keep going? How long can he go?
And now Jeopardy ratings are going to crash. But luckily, it is the end of the season for Jeopardy, and they'll be able to come back with some more fresh material. Alex Trebek hopefully will be coming back and returning as the host. He announced a couple months ago that he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Pancreatic cancer, yes.
And I've heard before that that's almost the death sentence.
It's very harsh on your body, but I think he actually announced maybe 2 weeks ago that they think that he is in remission. They said with a couple of more chemo treatments, he is on the upswing. I don't know if you can actually say he's cured, because is stage 4 ever cured? Well, cancer is very fickle. I don't think that people fully understand cancer. I will not go into it right now, but just educate yourself on cancer. I don't know that it's something that you can beat, but I think to be positive for the people who do have it, it is something that you can contain.
Yeah. Well, James Holzhauer, you definitely made the last couple of months very interesting on Jeopardy. He was a sports gambler, and I think that's fascinating. His whole career was betting on sports games.
And then he bet on himself, and he won pretty big, in my opinion.
And he literally lives out in Vegas and does nothing but bet on sports games. And did you know that his wife, her name is Melissa Sawson. She is a tutor from Seattle, Washington, and she's also been on a game show. She was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and she won $28,000 off that show. Who are these people?
We need to meet these people.
I mean, Just going on game shows and winning money?
Teach me the ways.
However, I do know a guy who went on The Price is Right and won a card.
Oh, we both know a guy who went on The Price is Right and won a card.
And I want him on this show so bad just to hear that backstage experience. I want to know what it's like. But I have a few friends that I feel like are smart enough to go on Jeopardy and do well.
I think Wiley could go on Jeopardy.
Your
and do
husband?
Well.
Yeah,
he could do well.
I really do. Now, I would never put myself in that situation to go on Jeopardy to be humiliated because that is a show where you have to have a lot of book smarts.
You've got to have book smarts and at least enough confidence in what you're going to say to be able to actually speak it. I would go up there, know the answer, and probably say the complete opposite because I'm nervous.
Speaking of book smarts and common sense, there is something new being added to the curriculum for our public school systems, and it's called Adulting 101.
Can I still sign up for that?
It's being added to the curriculum. If you look up the word adulting in the dictionary, you will see it explained as the accomplishment of mundane but necessary tasks. I am all for this class being offered in public schools. I think it's something that should have been offered a long time ago. Some of the things that students will learn is they're going to be talking about insurance, talking about retirement, learning how to open up a bank account, learning how to operate from your bank account, learning basic chores such as doing laundry and checking your oil and even changing your oil in the vehicle. And they're making this a required class. Now, I don't know what states have picked up on this yet, but there are some schools that are adopting this as a requirement, so we're going to have to see how this goes. I'm all for it. I think
100% back this.
I think that our curriculum needed to be revised a long time ago. Not only do we need an adult 101 class, but we need to have classes that are preparing students for things after high school. For instance, there needs to be an ACT prep course that's required for students, for seniors in high school to take. I think that it should be a requirement that instead of taking a silly Algebra 2 required class, you should replace that with an ACT prep class or an SAT.
Like have it for like a whole semester or like for a couple of weeks?
Have it for a whole semester. You have to pay thousands of dollars to take those classes outside of school, those little ACT prep classes. Why not just offer them for free to the students? Do you think, though, that it should be an elective, or do you think everyone should be required to have to take that? Because I could get behind an elective.
Yeah, I think that just kind of leads into, you're taking ACT, SAT to prepare yourself to go to college. That is going to be, the big basis of whether or not you get selected into a college. So if you're not going to go to college and you know that this is not the route for you, then I don't think that you should have to sit through the ACT prep. So I would say more of an elective, but I think that there needs to be education about that because that's one thing that we do miss is that people push college when they don't really push vocational schools, things like that.
College Success is a class that most freshmen in college have to take their first semester of college. I think that's silly to take it while you're already in college. That needs to be taken.
I did not have this class.
That needs to be taken your senior year of high school. It's basically just a college 101 class. How do you study? How do you manage your time? How do you properly show up to class on time?
I feel cheated. Seriously, we did not have that at Murray State.
You didn't?
No, we did not.
You never had a Murray State 101 type class?
No, because I done psychology at Murray, but we had like a psychology. Like, here's what you need to know about psychology. And it was just a pass-fail, but that was the only, introduction that we had.
Should have been an Eagle.
Well, I was a racer.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our last commercial break, and we will be right back with some more Off the Cuff.
Lexington Community Radio has the support of Columbia Gas. Planning an outdoor project that requires
Where do you
digging?
want to go next?
Call 811 at least 2 days before you dig and get your underground utility lines marked so you don't unearth any hidden surprises. Call 811 before you dig. It's free, it's easy, it's the law.
Probably
Discover the story
trending
of the shared
topics on
cultural
Twitter.
and artistic heritage that is the Lyric Theater. Originally opened in 1948,
Do you want to talk about the
thriving
deals?
entertainment centerpiece for Lexington
We can, yeah.
African-American families.
Forgot about that.
It quickly became a
Do you know the
global
premiere
icon.
date?
After nearly 50 years of dormancy since
Look,
closing in
look,
1963,
look, look.
Lyric theater and cultural
I just can't believe I did that on
dedicated
that.
to
On
honoring
the
its
Facebook
past
Live.
while
What?
maintaining a
I'm like,
strong
"Rrr, rrr, rrr."
future development of the
I don't
community.
question.
Sometimes I forget people are watching me on this thing.
June
To
24th.
celebrate diverse cultures through our programming and outreach. Nestled on the historic corner of East 3rd and Elm Tree Lane, Lexington's reigning crown jewel awaits you.
Oh my gosh.
Learn
Gotta
more
talk
at
about NBA
lexingtonlyric.com.
Forget about that.
Are we coming into that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm out on that.
Now basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. I keep it so fresh.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Last segment of the hour. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in the studio with me. The NBA playoff finals are officially underway. We have had 3 games so far, and it's been an exciting little series to watch. Amber, have you got to watch any of it?
I just checked up on the scores. That was about it.
Well, the Raptors lead 2-1 so far in the series. Game 1, the Raptors won 118 versus the Warriors 109. Game 2, Warriors 109, Raptors 104. Game 3, Raptors 123, Warriors 109. So Raptors ahead 2-1. And
Now, are the Raptors the team from Canada?
yeah, the Raptors
Okay.
are the team from Canada. And the big story, really, about this whole entire series, let's be honest, it's Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Drake sitting on the sideline, all of his sideline antics.
Getting stuff started.
Getting stuff started. Did you see his shirt that had Kevin McAllister on the back of it, and it had his hands clapped over his face, and it said, Kevin?
No.
Well, he was trolling Kevin Durant, who is out injured, so he was trolling. But yeah, Drake has had a few words with some of the players from the Warriors.
Seen he was trying to sell Steph Curry's lint on eBay.
Yeah, he picked Steph Curry's lint out of his hair.
Okay.
He picked Steph Curry's lint out of his hair. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, he addressed Drake's antics, telling reporters before the series game 1, that the league office had conversations directly with Drake and his manager, and he says that, I think we ended up in a good place. So he is okay with Drake being on the sidelines, doing his thing.
Look at the attention that it's bringing, though. People, I think, were watching to see how he was going to act.
But Drake is probably the most annoying sports fan in the entire world.
He's like the rest of us. It's just he's got a lot more money than we do.
No. I think he's an annoying sports fan, and hear me out why I say he's an annoying sports fan. He's a fan of everybody. He's a fan of who's winning. He's a fan. Look back through videos. Look and see what party he was trying to crash when the Miami Heat won the NBA championship. He was rooting for the Heat. He was party, all about the Heat. When the Cavs won, he was all about the Cavs. The Cavs. He's all about Kentucky Wildcats when they're doing good. And then when UConn beat Kentucky in the championship that year,
Yep.
he put on a UConn shirt.
Yep.
I think in sports, it's okay to be an annoying fan but if you're all about your team. But what really is annoying is when you go from team to team to team to team.
Are you trying to say that Drake is clout chasing?
He is. But it's been interesting, and I think people are tuning in to see what's happening with Drake and what he's going to do next. I wish Kentucky had an NBA team.
It would be fun. I would go.
I do. Kentucky used to have a team in the ABA, the American Basketball Association, and they were called the Kentucky Colonels. They played in Louisville, and they were good. They actually won the entire thing in 1975. Yeah.
So we've not had one since then, or
No. See, they won the national They won their league's national championship. It was either in 75 or 76. And that same year, the NBA, their champion was the Warriors. Well, the coach from the Kentucky Colonels wanted to play the Warriors for like a world championship, but the Warriors refused.
Huh.
They didn't want to play Kentucky.
Well,
they didn't want to play Kentucky. The Kentucky Colonels were only one of the 2 ABA teams, along with the Indiana Pacers, to play for the entire duration of the league without relocating, changing its name, are folding. So it proves that that Kentucky can last. Kentucky could bring an NBA team to the state, and it could last. It could be profitable. When the Grizzlies was in Vancouver years and years ago, before it went to Memphis, it was rumored that one of the possible locations that the Grizzlies was going to go to before Memphis was the final destination was Louisville.
Okay.
So the Grizzlies almost went to Louisville instead of Memphis. And the Sacramento Kings, they have been rumored before to be leaving Sacramento and relocating to Louisville.
Okay.
But I will say this. I will not root for the team if it's just a Louisville team. It's got to be Kentucky. It's got to be Kentucky as a state. Don't just make it the city team of Louisville. I don't want that. Louisville I don't think it represents the state. I think that people in Louisville, they like just being Louisville.
Yeah.
And I think that if you just had a NBA Louisville team, I don't think you're going to get as big as a following as what you could if you just made it the whole state's team.
Yeah, so everybody can be involved.
So I don't want it to be called the Kentucky Colonels. I think we should move past that and just call it something else. Maybe the Kentucky, I don't know, the Kentucky Gentlemen.
I don't know about that one, Max.
Who knows? But before I get off here, I just want to address this. And I've been going back and forth because I didn't know if I wanted to talk about this or not. But when I went into radio, I made a point to tell myself that when I get on here, I want to be completely honest with my audience. And I want them to be aware of the things that are going on in my life and my emotions and things that are happening. And I think it's just important for me to be real. And the other day, I had something very tragic happen. Not really to me, but someone that well, here's the story. When I first moved to Lexington, I didn't really know anybody. And I remember my first friend here was a young man. I don't want to say his name over the radio, but I met him, and we were friends for a couple years. And he was just a good friend of mine. But as you grow older, as you know, sometimes you go your separate ways, you separate, you lose contact. And I went a couple years without talking to him. And on Facebook, I was on Facebook, and I saw a suggested friend, and it was him. You know those little suggested friends that pop up?
Those are all the people I've been trying to avoid.
Well, I saw his profile, and I clicked on it, and I was like, I wonder how he's doing. I'm going to message him and see how he's doing, because I missed talking to him. And the very first thing that I saw when I clicked on his profile was his obituary. He died. And I've been gathering up all of this information about how, possibly how he died, because nothing is written in stone. I don't know if it was a car accident or if he was shot. I don't know. But what I've come to realize is that I believe it was suicide. I believe he killed himself. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because one, it had been years since I had talked to him. It had been 8 months since he had died, and he had been dead for 8 months, and I didn't even know it. And I know this guy. I knew him well. I knew that he did have some depression issues, and his mental health was not in the best of shape. But I do want to say after this, because I've been having a really hard time dealing with this situation the last couple of days, but I want to say this to people that have friends that you haven't spoken to in a while. If you're thinking of them, reach out to them, say hello, just check on them, see how they're doing. If you ever feel like that you see somebody that you know that might be struggling, reach out, say hi, ask them if they need anything. And you never know what people are going through.
Everybody's fighting their own battles.
Everybody is fighting their own battles. And the thing about depression is sometimes people are embarrassed to admit that they are depressed. But you shouldn't be embarrassed. It seriously is a mental illness that can be treated. And it's bad if you don't get help for it, because it can only lead you down a worse, dark hole than what you're already in. So try to seek help if you have it. If you know anybody that deals with depression or deals with mental illness, then reach out to them.
And there are so many resources available. The suicide prevention hotline number is 1-800-273-8255. They are there. They do help. I've used them myself, and I encourage you, if you are having these type of feelings, reach out to them.
Please. Please. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to another episode of Off the Cuff. Amber, always a pleasure to have you in studio. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And it's always a pleasure to have everyone listening live at home and listening from the app and listening from the Facebook Live page. All of the ways that you can listen. Keep listening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adam Banks. That is Amber Turner. And this is Off the Cuff. And I will see you in the next episode of Off the Cuff next Thursday from 4 to 5.